Welcome to the video about the invisible identity ceiling that you don't even know that it's there. So my name is Farbod and I run this YouTube channel. Basically, I help entrepreneurs who are being plateaued at multi six figures and above with their identity shift. So it's not so much about putting more hours, putting more effort, you know, hiring your next business coach and things like that. This is more about identity shifting. So then you're naturally going to take the right action and do it the right way. Okay. So in this video, we are going to go over that invisible ceiling that you don't even know that it's there. Okay. So for the sake of this example, I'm just going to use a specific number. Your number could be slightly higher or, whatever the case might be. So I might actually try to give you an example. So I'm just gonna do this. Let's say your revenue level, right? This is your income ceiling. So you are already making 20K a month as a founder. So if you're doing 20K a month and your goal is to go to 50K or 100K a month or so, right? So we're gonna take this as an example, okay? So basically you're making 20K a month as a founder and you want to get to 100K a month, or you want to get to 50K, 100K, something like that. And you don't want just that small change. For example, a small change is like 20K to 25K. That's not that much of a difference, right? Whereas 20K to 50K or more, that's like double or triple, right? So that's what we want to be aiming. So what does that identity shift actually look like? Because what tends to happen is we all have a ceiling that we are not even aware of, okay? Imagine if there was no limit, right? Would you be able to hit your ideal revenue? Chances are you would. The reason why you aren't able, because you identify as this identity of a version of you that makes 20K a month. And every single time you're trying to get to the next level, your brain basically sabotages it. And what end up happening is that you try to spend more money on ads, you start doing more content, but something doesn't feel familiar and it feels uncomfortable. It feels, unknown to you. And then you're thinking, oh, let's just sabotage it. Let's just not perform on those sales calls. Let's just stop the ad, or whatever the case may be. You work against yourself and you're not even aware of why you do those things. The reason why we do this on a subconscious level, because our identity is basically in that box that you have in front of you. This is the identity ceiling. This is what our brain actually perceive, or our self-image actually about ourself is. So in order to change that, we have to change that self-image. So how do we change that self-image, right? So if you watch my previous video training, I had a picture of a brain, right? So let me see if I can find it. Actually, I just draw it out here. So this is just bear with me. Yeah, I think it's right there. Yeah, it's very, very small. You can't even see it. So anyway, I think I had it right here. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is our human brain, okay? So our conscious mind and our subconscious mind, right? So consciously, this is the information we feed ourselves through education, through words of affirmation, through things that we tell ourselves, right? This is our human mind or human brain, right? 99%, that's like subconscious. So you're not even aware of these. So these subconscious thoughts or mind, basically, in order to reprogram that, we have to go back to where actually this belief system came from. So a lot of the time, that's between the age of 3 to 10-year-old version of you. So you have to really go back into that specific memory or specific belief, that these beliefs system were actually formed. You weren't born with it, but you had this belief system that money is scarce, that you know I can only hit 10K a month or something like that. Or well, when you were younger, it was more like broader. It was like more about like money, how you perceive relationship, how you perceive all these things, because of your experiences and things like that. So you really want to go back into those memories and then work through those and remove and replace those memories. So in order to reprogram our subconscious mind, we have to do it through repetition. And not only just repetition, but also having that belief system. So, what I mean by that, let's say you identify yourself as someone who just makes 10K, 20K a month, and that is your identity. That, let's say you work 10 hours a day, you are a solopreneur, and this is how you perceive yourself. This is how others perceive you. This is how you perceive yourself as an operator. This is your identity. And to you, running 100K a month, it's not you. It's not possible for you. You feel like it's such a distance. It's not within your reality. And what we need to do, we need to essentially make that our new reality in the now. Okay? So you have to literally borrow that feeling of you acting as if you already achieved that goal and actually fully believe it, that it has already happened. So you have to basically take that image and the feeling of that, right? So there are literally two ways, right? I'm just gonna write this down. One is image and two is feeling. So whenever you're doing hypnosis, right, visualization, things like that, you want to take the image and the feelings, because we have to understand like what is the language of our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind is emotional brain. In order to rewire or reprogram it, we have to speak the same language as our subconscious mind, because our brain literally doesn't know the difference between what is real and what has been imagined over and over again through repetition, right? We have to literally keep repeating those affirmation and visualization, seeing those images and the feeling. It's not just saying out the word, because you could say the affirmation and it doesn't work at times, but you have to literally have that image and the feeling and belief system that this is already real. So then you are able to reprogram your subconscious mind. So that's what needs to be happening. So we need to have the image and the feeling of what our 100K month or what that operator like day-to-day life will be like. How would you run your business? How would operation look like? How would you think? How would you make decision? All that sort of stuff, because when you do, you are able to make that quantum jump. And that's the secret. It's a lot easier said than done, but that's what I want you to basically lean with. So bring you back in here. So the reason why you keep hitting a ceiling or you keep staying stuck is because you put yourself in this box, right? This is your ceiling, right? So we have to literally, and yeah, excuse me if I'm just feeling a little bit cold or running nose, but that's essentially what it is, right? So you have to basically create that new identity. So you put the number here, you put whatever number you want. You could even say 200K a month. The numbers are irrelevant. You just have to briefly describe what that new identity is. How would they think? How would they feel? How would they act? How would they walk? How would they run their business? How would they go about decision making? It's like almost you have that persona. Every time you hit a bottleneck or you feel stuck in your business and things like that, you tap into that new identity. You ask yourself, it's like going through ChatGPT or Claude and asking for guidance and question and things like that. It's the same thing. So you just like tap into your new identity and you ask yourself, what would my 100K a month founder do in this situation? What decision would they take? Whenever you feel stuck, tap into that frequency. Ask that version of you, right? And then the answer will come, right? And we want to get to a point where we normalize this new identity. We start thinking, we start feeling, and we start acting as that version of ourselves. And all by a sudden, the answers will come. You're able to create a new offer at a higher price point. You're able to refine or improve your sales process. You're going to be creating better system for your lead generation and things like that. So maybe the one that you're running, it seems a bit inefficient, right? Maybe you're relying too much on word of mouth referral. You're not putting out enough content, or you're not running enough ads, or whatever the case may be, right? Or maybe you're not even charging high enough, or retention is the problem. So all those answers will come. So you will naturally start taking those action because you are vibrating, you're operating as this new identity or version of you. And all by a sudden, you're working less, you're making way more money, and everything will be sweet. So if you need help with shifting your identity and completely letting go of that old identity that no longer serve you, I do have spots available for working with me one-on-one. I have included the link below. You can even join my community as well. The links are in the description, and I will speak to you on the next one.